Is your marketing actually working? I'm Chris Cooper. This is Run a Profitable Gym. And if you're not measuring these 4 marketing metrics, it's impossible to know. So first, I'm going to tell you what to measure. Then I'm going to tell you how the best in the world are tracking at these metrics. And then I'm going to tell you exactly how to fix them. So this is how you fix your funnel. And it all starts with measuring where the problems might be. So let's start with leads. Leads are the people who land on your website. They could be coming from your organic media, from your social media, or from your paid ads, but they get to your website. The next thing we want to measure is set rate. And these are the number of people who visit your site and then take the next step and set an appointment. So these are people who are interested enough to sit down and hear your pitch. They book a no sweat intro with you. The third metric is show rate, the number of people who book an appointment and then actually show up for it. Sadly, this is rarely 100%. The people who show are the ones who are serious about signing up. They are yours to lose. And the fourth metric to measure is your close rate. These are the number of people who buy. Now, none of these 4 metrics will be a perfect 100% at any time. However, if you know these numbers, then you can diagnose the problems in your marketing. For example, a lot of people will say things like, Facebook ads don't work for me, but they're not measuring how many people go from the Facebook ad to their website, or they're not measuring how many people who hit their website actually book an appointment, or how many of those people actually show up, or how many of those who show up actually sign up. So the problem might not be Facebook marketing at all. Zuckerberg might be doing a great job, but you're not converting the people who get to the website, and those people aren't booking an appointment, and then those people aren't showing up. You don't know until you measure. So we actually measure these metrics separately, and I'm going to show you what the best in the world at each individual metric is doing to improve it and do so well right now. Now, we report these separately because we can learn from the gyms that post the best numbers in each category. We share their scores publicly so that you have something to aim for, not so that you can compare your results against theirs. Here are our leaders worldwide for appointments set, appointments showed, and appointments closed in May 2023. As soon as I walk you through these leaderboards, I'll tell you what to do to improve at each stage. Okay, so let's talk about people who are booking the most appointments on their website. We're not going to track leads because that's almost irrelevant. If you get 1,000 leads hitting your website and nobody's booking an appointment, who cares how many more leads you can get? That's why, as a sidebar here, the marketing agencies who promise you 30 new leads or whatever, that's just not relevant, because if you're not getting them to book appointments, if they're not showing up for their appointments, if you're not selling them at their appointments, you could get 1 million leads and it won't matter. So let's start with not how many leads people are getting, but how many appointments they're booking. That's the first real step to tell you whether your marketing's working. We're going to go through the top 10 in reverse order. Number 10 from Canada, woohoo, they had 33 appointments booked last month. That means they had more than 1 appointment booked every single day for a new client. Pretty awesome. Up from there is 34. The owner of this gym, they're in the States. They actually have 2 gyms, but this is just at one of their gyms. They had 34 appointments booked in May. Up from there, also in the US, 36 appointments booked. In 7th place, 36 appointments booked. In 6th place, 37 appointments booked. In 5th, a women's only gym, 37 appointments booked, also in the States. And now here's where some of the leaders really start to pull away. 4th place is a strength training gym. They had 47 appointments booked. 3rd place is an F45. They had 60 appointments booked in May. 2nd place is actually a kickboxing franchise, and they had 100 appointments booked in May. So that's 100 appointments, consultations booked. And in 1st place, this is absolutely bananas. This leader, they're from Croatia. They had 214 appointments booked in May. Imagine having 7 appointments booked every single day through the month of May, right? Maybe you don't even want that many, but this is what the number 1 gym in the world is doing for appointments booked, and we can learn from them, right? So whether you just want to get more generally fit, and you don't want to be a power lifter, you can still learn from the best deadlifter in the world about how to get better at deadlifting and improve your overall fitness. Even if you don't want 214 NSIs in a single month, or you don't have that kind of capacity, you can still learn from them. by all means, do what the best are doing and then dial it back instead of just saying, like, I don't want to do whatever that is. Okay, so that's NSI's booked. Congratulations to the top gyms. Between 1 appointment booked and 7 appointments booked a day. Incredible. Now let's go to how many of those clients actually showed and look at the leaders worldwide for appointments showed. All right, so what's really interesting here is that a lot of the places who are good at booking appointments are also great at getting clients to show up. And that's not nothing. That's really important, because if you're booking 1,000 appointments a month and only 200 show up, then your show rate's very, very low. You're actually better to have a high percentage of the people who booked appointments actually show up, because that tells you the leads you're getting are good and they're actually interested in your product. They're not just clicking on random ads to see what you're all about. So in 10th place, we had 24 people show. This is the same gym and they're in Canada. Whoop, congrats guys. In 9th place, 26 appointments actually showed. Really amazing. You're basically doing a sales appointment every single day. In 8th place, tied, we had 2 gyms with 29 appointments showed last month. In 6th place, 33. 5th place, 33. And again, like, that's a sports specific performance training gym. Very cool. In 4th, we had like a strength training gym have 40 appointments show. In 3rd, we had an F45 franchise with 41 appointments showed. In 2nd, it was more of like a healthcare facility in Europe, have 62 appointments show. And get this is bananas. We had a kickboxing studio in 1st place last month. They're in the States. They had 100 NSIs actually show up. Now, this isn't like the free tour, try a free workout, free trial. That's not what this is. This is sitting down for a no sweat intro, a sales appointment talking about membership, okay? If you're just running a free trial on Saturday and 10 people show up for it, that's not as good as getting one person to sit down at a desk with you and talk about their best prescription, their best course of action, and how you can solve their problems. So this gym had 100 people show up for those appointments. Congratulations to them. What a milestone. We can all learn so much, and I'm going to share their top lessons in a moment. In the past, some people have asked me, why don't you show rates? And the reality is that if we share like hard numbers, we can learn right from them. So sharing hard numbers means that I can talk about this person's bench, squat, and deadlift. If I just share percentages and say like, well, this person has a total of 2,000 pounds and 80% of that is their deadlift, it's confusing to try and learn from the best, right? Different people are the best in different categories. And it's interesting that while a lot of the same gyms are on all 3 leaderboards for set, show, and close, they're not in the same rankings. So they all still have like work to do to improve. And I don't want to bury that by sharing a rate or a percentage. I want to share the actual numbers. So here we go. First off, NSI's closed. We had a gym in the States do 21. They're in 10th place. They had people show up and 21 of them signed up for new memberships last month. That's great, right? And of course, it's not like the exaggerated numbers that you might see on Facebook. I'm going to get you 50 new clients in a month. But what you actually have to ask yourself is how many people could you get and keep in a month? For me, 21 is a big number. Like, I don't know if I could bring 21 into my gym right now and keep all of them. That's why these numbers are so impressive, is that these gyms are signing these people up and keeping them long term. In 9th place, 22 new members last month. In 8th place, 23, amazing. In 7th, 24. In 6th place, 26 new members last month. That's a new person coming in, going through their NSI, starting an onboarding process before joining the group every single day that you were open last month. Incredible. In 5th place, 27 new members signed up last month. In 4th place, 28. In 3rd place, 29. In 2nd place, 34. And in 1st place, 46 new members last month. That's absolutely incredible. And here's another thing I want you to keep in mind. For most gyms, according to our data set of like 16,000 micro gyms worldwide, the average client coming in is going to pay about $112 for their first month. In a 2-brain gym, every client that's coming in is going to pay double or triple that in their first month. Part of that is their onboarding process, or they might be introduced to personal training, but we customize the prescription for the client, and that usually means a higher value service for the client and a much faster outcome for them getting to their goals too. So what's interesting here is that while 10th place is 21 new clients, those 21 clients could be worth as much as 50 or 60 clients at the average gym. 21 is a lot. It's more than I think I would want at my gym, but congratulations to these people. I also don't want an 800-pound deadlift. So let's get back to how they did it. Now, if you're looking at our blog this week or you're watching this on YouTube, there's a cool graphic here that's going to show you, depending on where the weaknesses are in your funnel, here's exactly what to do to fix them. But remember, if you're not tracking these metrics and you're not breaking down your funnel step by step, you'll never know what's going wrong. And you might attribute it to something that's actually working. You might stop doing something that's actually working because you don't know that it's working, right? So here we go. If you need more leads into your funnel, there's really only about 3 things that you can do. You can increase your ad spend, you can refresh your creative, so put out more in different media, or you can test an alternate offer. Maybe the pitch that you're making just isn't appealing to people. Now, if you're tracking your metrics, what you can do is you can be testing 3 or 4 different ads at a time. And this is what we actually teach in our course is, once you learn how to do Facebook and Instagram ads, you test 3 at a time and you run them for a month at very minimal cost. And then you figure out which one's working best and you move all the money to that one so that you're going bullets and then cannonballs, basically, okay? Now, next, if you're getting leads but you need more appointments set, then you can improve your speed to contact. So you can pick up the phone and call them faster. The best rule of thumb is call them within 10 minutes if you can. I know this is awkward at first, but the reality is they've filled in information because they want to talk to you. And so the greatest service that you can do them as their future coach is just pick up the phone and call them. Get over your awkward feelings and just say, am I willing to do this hard thing in order to help this other human who needs me? Okay? So that's the first thing that you can do. The next thing that you can do to get more appointments is improve the call to action on your website. Part of this means having a website that actually works. I know back in the day, we all created our own websites and they were these masterful works of art and they didn't do anything. Really, if you're using something like Kilo, Gym Lead Machine, these places will show you exactly how many leads you're getting and how many of those leads are booking calls. The CRM helps with that, and I'll come to lead nurture in a moment, but the reality is just knowing, it gives you a superpower. It gives you a button to push, a lever to pull. You can take action if you know. It's a diagnostic tool, okay? How to get more NSIs booked, there's a couple more things you can do. So I said you can improve your speed to contact and you can improve your call to action on your website. You can also just increase your outreach volume, right? You can run more ads. You can get more people into your funnel. This is what most people default to. And I know we kind of poo-poo it because we say, fix your funnel first before you pour more water into it. But the reality is, even if you got a broken funnel, if you pour water into it faster, more leads are going to come out the other end, right? And finally, the last thing is call leads more often. So one thing that you can do is, you pick up the phone, somebody fills out a form on your site, you call them within 10 minutes, they don't answer, you think, oh, they don't want to hear from me. Call them again, try them. These are human beings whose lives you can dramatically impact. They're worth the extra effort. They are very uncomfortable filling out this form. They're going to be uncomfortable walking into your gym. They're going to be uncomfortable working out in front of strangers. You can shoulder some of that discomfort. You can get a little bit uncomfortable and do the thing that makes you uncomfortable, which is picking up the phone and calling them, or calling them 2 or 3 times. Sometimes you have to call people 5 or 6 times before you catch them at the right time, or before it's convenient, or before they're comfortable answering. And they're not going to call you a jerk. What they're going to say is, here's why I talked to you in the first place, right? And it's not like you're chasing them. What you're doing is you are taking the first few steps toward them so that then they can take the steps toward you. All right. If you need to improve your show rate, so these are the people who booked appointments, but they're not showing up. There's a few things that you can do. First, you can send personal messages through video or text. If you're in gymownersunited.com and you're getting our free resources, and maybe you ask me a question through Facebook Messenger, I might respond with a voice message, because sometimes I can talk faster than I can type. But sometimes I want to tell you a story, or sometimes I want to tell you like how your struggle is related to mine. And I'll tell you, like, what that does is it builds trust between me and you. And if you send me a voice message back, then I get more context too, and I get to hear how you're feeling, and I get more cues about whether you're frustrated or scared or whatever, right? So upgrading like your communication method really helps people to know, like, and trust you faster. So personal messages through video or text are amazing. I don't use video very often. It's just really easy to send a voice message. You can also build rapport through email or text. So when somebody books an NSI, you can't just go dark and wait for them to show up. They want to know that they've done it right. They want a confirmation that they have an appointment. They want reminders. People expect this stuff now, right? If they book an appointment and they never hear from you, they're going to question whether you got a booking, or like whether they did it right, so they need to hear from you. Start that communication thread. Remember, it's a conversation, not a monologue. Ask them questions. Next, you can also create some scarcity or urgency before your appointment. So one thing that you can do is you can say, hey, Jimmy, I've got 3 appointment slots today. I'm really fired up that they're all booked. I want to make sure that you're going to show up, though, because there's a list of 5 people who really want that slot. Okay? It's up to you whether you feel comfortable with this. I don't, unless I really do have like a long waiting list. And you could say, hey, Jimmy, dropping you a line, man. So fired up to see you at 1 o'clock. If something has come up and you need to cancel, please let me know right now, because other people would really love to get in that spot. Okay? It's not just a psychological challenge for them. It's showing them like your time is important and that they need to take it seriously and that they are important enough to warrant your full attention. The last thing that you can do to improve your show rate is one of those, oh man, I should have thought of that, moments that I have all the time. And that is, get them the appointment as fast as possible. Look, if they're scrolling through your page and they're like, okay, that's it, now's the time, I've got to book this thing, then waiting 2 weeks to talk to you, or even a week, I mean, their passion's going to cool off, right? They're going to forget the mental state they were in when they booked that appointment, and they won't think of it again until they're back in that mental state, and then they're starting from scratch and they've wasted a month, and like they could have been so much more fit if you got them into an appointment quickly. So you need to have appointment availability almost all the time. If you can only get people into an appointment at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, that's not going to be convenient for everybody. And so as you level up as an owner and you buy yourself time, part of the time should be creating availability to have these consultations with people and get them in there as quickly as you can. Now, if you need to improve your close rate, there are some things that you can do that will help. The number one thing, though, is to practice, practice, practice. Get reps. On Two Brain, we do reps with mentors one-on-one. We give you these things called a scenario deck that lets you role play with your staff. We have office hours where you can come in and role play every single week if you want to. You can grab other people in the group and just role play. But the reality is, like, you will not be comfortable with sales because you're bringing all this baggage to the conversation. Number one, you're bringing the baggage that you were taught by people who don't have money, right? Your teachers, maybe your parents, about how salesmen are evil or they're tricky or they're trying to fool people. You're bringing that baggage in. Second, you're bringing in the baggage of projection. There's so much on the line here. What happens if they don't sign up? Oh my God, I'm not going to eat this week. So you need to get reps to get over those things and just get comfortable with it. There's a couple of other things you can do to improve your close rate. First, pre-qualify your leads. Now, if you have less than 150 clients in your gym, don't worry about this step. Get people in. Even if your close rate is low, there's a value in getting reps and just having these conversations, okay? But if you're at 150 clients, you're making over $80,000 a year take home, you might want to pre-qualify your leads. There's some simple ways to do this. Number one, put your prices on your website. If price is going to be a big objection and you've got enough clients, let's get that out of the way first, okay? Next, you can call them up and say like, hey, making sure that I've got the solution for you so that we don't waste each other's time here. What goals are you looking for? And you have a conversation. You get a sense of their budget. You know whether they're a good fit or not before you actually sit down to the NSI. Again, if you have less than 150 clients or you're not making what you want to make per year, skip this step. Don't pre-qualify, just get them in. Another way that will help your close rate is to build rapport in advance. If you've got a solid bank of media out there, even if it's social media like Instagram, they will feel like they know you before they enter your office. If you don't have a good social media presence, if you don't publish a blog or a podcast, and they know nothing about you, then they are making a deal with a stranger. It is so much easier to make a deal with somebody that you feel like you know, you like them and you trust them. They will be excited. So build rapport by constantly publishing. Third, clarify their problem. Follow the prescriptive model. Their problem is not, I don't have a CrossFit gym to belong to. Their problem is, I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. I might want to lose some weight. I might want to make my arms bigger. I might want to feel stronger. I don't want to feel tight anymore. I don't want to feel sick all the time. Whatever that problem is, you need to help them clarify that and then sell them the solution. Simply selling your spin class, your kickboxing class, your workout, that is not solving their problem. And you're going to have a much lower conversion rate because now you got to convince them to just try your thing and see if it works. Okay. The next step to improve your close rate is clearly tell them how you will help. So don't just say you can come to class 3 times a week. You can say, doing constantly varied functional movement at high intensity will help boost up your metabolism. And so you'll see a little bit of weight gain slowly, but those results will compound over time and you'll start losing weight faster and faster. That's how you tell them how your service will solve their problem. You don't do it by pulling out your spreadsheets. You don't do it by drawing graphs on the floor. These are all mistakes that I've made. You don't need to barf on them for an hour. You just need to clearly define their problem and then tell them how your service will help. And if it won't help, you need to tell them that too. Finally, create conviction and ask them to sign up. Creating conviction is easy. It's basically, does this make sense to you? Make sense? Sound good? And as soon as they say yes to something, then you've got some conviction and it's time to say, are you ready to get started? That's it. Not, how would you like to pay for this? Not, will you sign a 1-year contract? Nothing that makes you uncomfortable. Just say, are you ready to get started? And their answer to that is going to be a yes or a no. If it's a yes, great, here's how to pay. If it's a no, then say, okay, what do I have to do to remove the obstacles that are stopping you from getting started right now? You're coaching, right? You're solving their problems for them. You are good at this. All you have to do is get rid of your own baggage. So that's how you improve your appointment set, showed, and close rate. And of course, nobody needs to do all of these things all the time, all at once. Nobody needs to do them right now. But what you do need to do is figure out where the weakest links are in your funnel by looking at metrics and then striving to improve them. I'm Chris Cooper. This is Run a Profitable Gym. If you want to talk about this episode or any episode, you can go to gymownersunited.com. That's our free Facebook group where we answer questions. We share these leaderboards. We share top tips publicly for free for over 7,000 gym owners around the world. Thank you for your service. Thank you for changing lives. Keep getting better at it.